Property is such a valuable asset in this country, and unfortunately the ownership of property can paint a picture between the haves and the have-nots. Unfortunately, it can be a long road to acquiring property, and for some, it can be taken away from you by your own government. Legally. You didn't know that was possible? Well, let me inform you. This is eminent domain. Eminent domain refers to the power of the government to take private property and convert it into public use. The Fifth Amendment provides that the government may only exercise this power if they can provide just compensation to the property owners. Historically, eminent domain was used for public uses, things like roads and schools. Over time, the definition of public use was expanded to include purposes that serve a public benefit, namely increased tax revenue and jobs. This led to a widespread eminent domain abuse stateside, where cities took perfectly fine homes and businesses from property owners simply to transfer them into wealthy developers. This culminated in the 2005 U.S. Supreme Court decision in the Kello v. City of New London. The court infamously ruled that the cities could take private property based on the mere promise of increased tax revenue and jobs. I'm sorry, what? This type of abuse isn't uncommon. Look at Detroit, for instance. This city went through hard times after the boom of imported cars into the United States began to take shape in the 1970s due to their more fuel-efficient designs in a time where gas prices were rising. If only they could see gas prices today. Wait, I'm sorry, that's a topic for a whole other video. Planners routed Detroit's freeways through predominantly black communities. The Chrysler Freeway blasted through Paradise Valley and Black Bottom, destroying a vibrant black business and entertainment district that contained some of the African American community's most important institutions. The Lodge Expressway cut through the increasingly black neighborhoods around 12th Street and west of Highland Park. And the Edsel Ford Freeway managed to cut through both the Black West Side and the northern extension of Paradise Valley. This left a lot of people displaced. Predominantly black and poor residents displaced by the demolition were left to find new housing without government assistance. At a time when demand in the city's segregated housing market far outstripped supply. Instead of moving into better living conditions, a majority of those displaced ended up within a mile of new superhighways, in homes that were almost no better than the ones they had left. The better residential developments such as Lafayette Park became mostly white enclaves. Harvey Royal, whose home was demolished for the Ford Freeway, summed it up best by saying, "I think it would have been so much nicer to have built places for people to live in than a highway and just put people on the street." So a very gross abuse of power. Surprised? Yeah, me neither. But following the decision of Kello versus City of New London, 44 states reformed their eminent domain laws, making eminent domain abuse nearly non-existent stateside. Hold for dramatic effect. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico has continued to habitually use eminent domain for private development. Puerto Rico's eminent domain laws received a grade of F in a report released by the Institute of Justice, a nonprofit civil liberties law firm dedicated to ending eminent domain abuse. This is when the government seizes private property not for traditional public uses, but for private development. The report examines Puerto Rico's eminent domain practices and details the law's serious shortcomings, which give municipalities vast authority to seize private property for virtually any reason they deem appropriate. Puerto Rico's eminent domain laws are some of the worst in the United States, said Robert McNamara, a senior attorney at IJ and legal expert on eminent domain. He was quoted saying, "Expropriation, that's what they call eminent domain on the island, can be and has been used for basically anything municipalities want. Shopping malls, restaurants, luxury housing. But that's not the intention of the law. Nobody on the island should ever lose their home, business, or their community simply for the government to hand it over to another private entity." Unfortunately, they still are. With these loose interpretations of the law, it leaves a large open gate for corruption to seep through. This also isn't just a problem in the United States. China has a huge problem when it comes to eminent domain. Just recently, the creation of Shanghai's new subway system caused many of their citizens to be displaced. They even hold similar rights when it comes to just compensation. Why am I telling you this? I don't know. I guess because for some of you, telling you that we hold very similar property laws to a communist country is the only thing that's going to piss you off enough to listen. I suppose citizens aren't defenseless against their own government. During all of this, individuals can legally challenge the valuation of the property in question. However, the problem is that many victims of eminent domain cannot afford to hire a lawyer, and they know that. and they get away with it. This also isn't by accident. Redlining gave access to this level of corruption. If you can keep individuals delegated to a certain position and keep that neighborhood purposefully underdeveloped, by contracting time, you'll be able to exercise eminent domain on a group of individuals who, for lack of better words, are the have-nots.